Hi, and welcome to my sewing room. My name's Leah, and I'm on week 39 of my UFO challenge, where I've challenged myself to sew at least 15 minutes a day on my unfinished projects. This week I've been moving right along with my flying colors quilt. It's coming together really quick. I can't believe how fast it's coming together after all those years of me thinking it was going to be really difficult. I started this week by sewing rows, and I almost got the inner quilt top complete. Since I had put the blocks on the design wall last week, I thought it would be easier to go ahead and sew what I already had on the wall into rows. That would help keep everything together just in case I need to take them off the wall for something else. I started sewing together color pairs that matched. I took the time to pin where all the seams came together on these, and I'm glad I did because as you can see, when you open the back up, most of these have rows that line up with each other. The rows make it look like there isn't a break in the fabric, so I wanted to make sure everything lined up perfectly. Because even if they were off just a little bit, my eye would be drawn to that intersection and I would see it right away. After I got the pairs done, I sewed the other blocks from each row onto those pairs, and I finished sewing all the rows that I had on the wall so far. That took me about 3 days of sewing, with about 15 to 16 minutes a day. On my next few sewing sessions, I worked on making the triangle units. This is where the purple comes in. There's not a lot of purple in the quilt, but it sits next to the blue and green and it shines in the corners. I also made the blue and yellow triangles for the sides of the quilt. I spent about 20 minutes or so making my triangles. I wanted to get them all done in one session. And they did come together pretty quick, as you sew those in strips as well, and then trim your triangles down. I spent my next sewing session adding the triangles to the ends of my current rows. Then I started sewing the rows together to make the inside of the top. Again, this took me the rest of my sewing sessions for the week, and I only got half of the top sewn together. There was a lot of pinning that I had to do and a lot of pressing, and I wanted to make sure everything lined up. And those long seams, even though I think I can zip right through them with all the pinning and lining everything up, it does take several minutes to get at least one seam sewn. But with almost half of the inner quilt top sewn together, I'm pretty happy with my progress. I only have 4 more rows to sew on, and they keep getting smaller as I go, so those should sew up pretty fast. Then it's on to borders. Gotta do a black inner border and then a scrappy outer border. I can't decide if I want to put them all in a bag and shake it up and then just pull one out and sew it together, or if I want to kind of keep it a little bit controlled and line up my colors so I don't end up with all the pinks on one side or all the greens on another side. Well, that's it for this week. It was a good week of sewing and there weren't really any bumps in the road. I only had to take out my seam ripper one time, which is surprising for me. My stitch ripper usually gets lots of use, even after all these years of sewing. I usually end up sewing something on backwards somewhere, like I did here. I actually sewed the fabric the wrong side. I didn't put pretty sides together, so when I opened it up, I knew right away that I had to take that apart. But with only one mistake, that's pretty good, and hopefully I can keep that momentum up going into next week. How was your sewing week? Was it smooth sailing, or did you have to put something in timeout? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy sewing.